that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. I'm Dylan Blunt. Joining me today, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here talking about PlayStation, like usual.
That's the topic of the show as per usual, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Good job on getting that one right. Now, I asked you just before we start recording, but I do want to get it recorded. What level are you in Apex Legends now?
What
level in Apex Legends are you now?
31, I think.
That's right. Mr. 31 over here. And also, in case you didn't know, everyone, Ash just turned 31. How could you not see that coming after you told me your Apex level?
I just didn't know. Yeah.
As soon as you told me, I'm like, oh, I've got a good joke to open the episode with now.
Oh no, my audio's not working. I have to start again.
Did you turn 31 on Apex on your birthday?
No, I don't think so.
You sure? Because you was playing it yesterday.
I did, like 1 or 2 games, but that was it.
Okay, I'm gonna choose to believe that you leveled up on purpose to level 31 to match.
Whatever makes you happy.
It's making me quite happy to think about it magically working out like that, actually. Okay, let's get into the show. Apex Legends. Ash is a true master. If you need someone to carry your team, be sure to hit him up on PlayStation. No?
I've seen people like level 80 something.
Well, I'm only like 15, so you can carry me, okay? All right, so I want to quickly give out, there's a sale on, press start pointing out the sale at EB Games. I thought it was worth pointing out because they're very cheap. So their article says, EB Games has dropped a bunch of PlayStation hit titles to $10 from the already decent $25 or $24.95 price point. You can grab them online or head into store. It'll only last until March 24th. So if you're listening to this a month from now, pointless. But the games are Ratchet & Clank, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, Little Big Planet 3, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, Bloodborne, Until Dawn, and Drive Club, all for $10 each. They sound like good bargains.
That Nathan Drake Collection, that's a great deal.
That's three
of the
games.
Best games of all time for $3.33 each.
You cannot make up such a good bargain, you know?
Yeah.
You will never find that game that price again. Well, you probably will, let's be honest. But yeah.
Eventually.
Nothing here that, I mean, I've played all this shit and got all this stuff. But
yeah, I've either got it all or it's been on PS Plus. And
yeah, exactly. So nothing for, I don't think there's anything here for either of us. But it's like,
if you know somebody who's just got their PS4 or you want to try and get somebody into gaming, I'm sure easy $10.
These PlayStation hits range are supposed to be the best of the best for your PlayStation. So go out there. Plus Sekiro's out this week and it's like, hey, you don't give a fuck about Sekiro? You don't want ninjas? You're more into some gothic lore shit? Bloodborne, $10.
I mean, you could play that Bloodborne game should be like a good prep for Sekiro, right? Similar-ish.
I guess.
From the same studio.
Somewhat, I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right, so pointing those out. Some great games. If you haven't got them, or someone just picked up PS4, $10, especially that, of course, Uncharted collection, as we just said. $3.33 for 3 of the best games. I think you can buy the 4th one for $10. You're fucking set for life.
$20, best franchise ever. Incredible.
Yeah, exactly. So Beat Saber dropped its first DLC pack this past week. Price of it is $19.45, and it is titled its full title is just the Monster something. Monster Cat Music Pack Volume 1. It's called that because all the songs are from the publishing label Monster Cat. In case you're like, why the fuck is this thing? Yeah, that's how that all came together. So it's like a Canadian, I think, or I think it says here somewhere. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, it's from a Canadian publishing that does a bunch of stuff. So I picked it up. You haven't picked this up, have you?
No, I haven't picked it up yet.
Do you have any interest in more songs for your Beat Saber?
Yeah. I'm not in any rush to get more songs, but
okay, fair enough.
I mean, from the sound of it, it's just kind of more of the same. So
yeah, it's well, before I'll give you my opinions on the track list and stuff in a sec, but what I'll say that I quite enjoyed from the start is logging onto the PlayStation Store, going to look for this DLC, and it kind of reminded me of the old days when Rock Band and shit was always around, because basically every single week, this is PS3, I guess, time. There was a short period of time where songs were kind of dropping for Guitar Hero and stuff on the PS4 as well, but PS3, the heyday of Rock Band and stuff, week after week, whenever the stuff dropped on the PlayStation Store, you would have to scroll through about fucking 20 different songs added every single week for Rock Band and stuff, and they'll all be there, you know, like $3, $2.99, $3.49, whatever they were. And this kind of reminded me of it because I went onto the store to buy this, and you can buy it as one complete volume pack for $19.45, or you can buy the songs separately for like $3 something each. So there was like a heap of songs just like listed, just listed there, and I was like, oh, it's reminding me of the old days of logging onto the PlayStation Store when an update's dropped and there's a bunch of songs just listed here. So I can get used to this. This is what I want. I want all these Beat Saber songs flying in a million miles an hour. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 songs. 10 songs. I can't count, I think.
10.
10 songs. Sure. 10 songs. And they're all pretty, yeah, as you said before, it's just more of the same. It's not a new genre. It's all, you know, dance, dubstep combinations and that sort of stuff. But there's one song in particular that stands out for sure. And I was looking at this review from Road to VR for the thing, and they point out the one song that's also the best, which is Overkill. And they write here, Overkill, however, was the immediate standout. What I thought was initially going to be a somewhat generic heavy metal track ended up mixing elements of dubstep and synthwave, which kept things interesting. The beat map makes great use of this variety, with the notes alternating between following intense guitar riffs, drum rolls, and dubstep flares, which, yeah, it's the song is cool, but I think it's like playing it, that's a lot of fun because it does make a good use of when like drum things happen. So you're doing like double arm, like up, down, up, down, up, like up, down, up, down, up, down a lot for what's happening with the drums, and it stands out. And they do a bunch of like flashy effects on the screen at times too when stuff is happening. On hard is the max I can do at the moment. It's fun. I keep trying to do it on expert and failing, and then getting really annoyed, and then yelling, and then trying again and failing and getting really annoyed, and so on and so forth. And I could barely, I can't even make it halfway through the fucking song on expert at the moment. I'm like, fuck, I want to do it because it seems like it'll be really fun to play if I can get my head around it. Another song that's worth pointing out here is Till It's Over by Tristan, because that is the song that the Pop Culturists use at the start of their general videos, like not their For the Players PlayStation show, but their general YouTube videos. So that's the song that plays at the start of that. That's quite funny. So shout out to them. Now the Popsy is now officially part of the Beat Saber multiverse, I guess. Is how you
I guess.
It's quite funny.
Just got to wait till that Dash Culture song comes out.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sure it's in the works.
I'm like, fuck, why did I make the music for our plat theme? Now we'll never have a chance.
Hey, if you want to use that music, you're more welcome to hit us
Imagine
up.
Playing Beat Saber Platinum music. It's just it's that simple
it's
drum.
Like 30 seconds.
Yeah. I'll give you $10 if you can add that song in for me to play. Probably increases my chance of finishing a song 100% on expert as well, because it's only a 30-second thing. So that would be quite good. So yeah, the Beat Saber DLC, it's good. I'm enjoying it. The song I'm playing the most though is just simply Overkill over and over to try and fucking get better at it. The rest of them are fine. It's just more of the same sort of stuff. If you're looking for some new stuff, they did this week. Someone on Reddit, I saw pointing this out. So some guy responded to the Beat Saber DLC news. Not horribly, but kind of shitty. He responded with, meh, the game needs variety in regards to the genres of music that's available for play. As a PSVR player, I'm infinitely jealous of the PC player's custom songs. I want to play my favorite kind of music in Beat Saber. Please branch out with the next update. Please. And then Beat Saber was nice and responded with, don't worry, we have it covered with genres in the next packs, which makes me wonder what the how far they're going to push the genre scope of Beat Saber, I suppose, because I'm like, the game, given you play with lightsabers and you're in this like trippy area, like it makes sense for the kind of music that fits it. I can't imagine playing fucking Green Day or Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? Like, how do you fit these sorts of stuff into Beat Saber?
As long as it's upbeat, I think it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it isn't an issue because people have been modding it on PC for ages now.
That's true.
So, yeah, it's just I guess they're unsure what they want to do, or they just found it easier just to start with more of the same music to start off to see how they'll go before sort of moving away. Because I'm sure there's a huge audience of the Beat Saber audience that really likes that music. So,
well, like one of the dudes that made the game made a lot of the songs, you know, or like a couple of them, and so it's like his musical preference, I suppose, is where the game.
I'm sure, and he's probably got connections with people who have made
yeah.
similar sort of music. That's why it's easier to get that sort of music into the game, licensing wise.
And the game was probably inspired by the genre it centers around, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, hey, let's make a music game. Oh, what should the genre be? I think from the outset it was like, imagine a fucking lightsaber game with pumping club music or something like that. And that sounds great. So yeah, but if you could have anything, any genre added in next, what would you want? And what sort of songs would you want to play, do you reckon?
Well, I specifically said before I want the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack.
All right, yeah. That one's highly unlikely, I think, but
no, you never know. I mean, it's on PlayStation. Sony did it's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I guess you've got.
We can dream, Dylan. We can dream.
You've got some thin web happening here, but what else would you go for?
I know. Surprise me.
Really? Yeah.
Intricate jazz. That's
oh my god. I think like heavy metal stuff and whatever would fit in quite fine, simply because obviously the high tempo and that stuff, and a lot of the tracks like this Overkill one at the moment is a heavy metal / like dubstep mix. So it's kind of like I can see that fitting in because your arms are moving kind of like a drum anyway, I suppose. So if they like focus on the drum elements of those songs, you can kind of make that work out. I don't really know how much, and well, rap music, of course, because we've seen we're talking about the custom songs on PC. A lot of people have just added lots of rap songs. Like I remember watching a custom song being played. Someone did like a Eminem's Rap God, and that worked quite well because it's obviously fast paced and stuff. But yeah, I struggle to imagine softer. Because when you're playing Guitar Hero, for example, and you're playing a slower song, because they're guitar based, it's more rhythm. Even if it was like a slower song, it's like you're still like focusing. But with Beat Saber, I'm like, if it's just some acoustic shit, you're just gonna be hitting the same two things up and down. There's like not like much change or constant. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Apparently, I saw him on Twitter also say that they struggled with this first music pack for whatever reason to like understand how to like get it set up within the game and whatever. It's that kind of thing like with anything else where they've got the template set now, which will make doing it in the future easier, I think. And they said so future music packs won't be as hard for them to do or take as long for them to put out. So that's good. And we talked about schedule for these sorts of things before, and I'm happy with one every like 2 to 3 months or something. I thought would be nice. So
yeah,
we'll see when the next one drops. But with the amount of money they got, I am wondering like, could they pay some more people to come in and do stuff? Because the part that takes the most time for these apparently is the what they call it, the mapping, like obviously like mapping the symbols for the song and that sort of stuff. And a lot of people, I think for this music pack, even they may have got people who were popular in the community for doing a lot of custom stuff on PC to help them do it out, or like paid them as interns or something like that to do it. Yeah, is what I think.
Makes sense.
Kind of gathered. So, which would be cool. Also on Beat Saber, one last story. Beat Saber sells more than 1 million copies, releases first music pack. Comes from Variety. Says, virtual reality rhythm game Beat Saber may just be the first VR title to sell more than 1 million copies. Beat Saber surpassed the 1 million unit milestone in February, according to Beat Games co-founder and CEO Jaroslav Beck, who credited word of mouth for the game's most success in a recent interview with Variety, saying, quote, "We did zero PR whatsoever. We didn't expect it would blow up that crazy." Beat Games also announced the release of the first song pack, blah, 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 blah. Beat Saber has become a hit with VR users ever since its release in May of last year. The game can be described as a mixture of Fruit Ninja and Guitar Hero, requiring users to slice squares to the rhythm of the music. I don't know if I've ever thought about the Fruit Ninja thing, but yeah, it's funny. They literally did do zero PR, and you never really take a second to think about it. And
well, I feel like at every single con they seem to be there, so
that's true.
A little bit of PR. So
I suppose it depends how you want to look at it, but
yeah, the word of mouth thing is definitely
what
anybody who tries it turns into an advocate of the game. So and it spreads the word. So
yeah. It's so funny because I still just think back to the first time I saw gameplay of it on Twitter, and that fucking the Beat Saber account had like 600 followers at the time. And I don't know who retweeted it or how it came across on my Twitter profile, but I remember seeing it and be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" It was probably when I was doing the Kickstarter or whatever they did to get money in the first place, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, what is this? I'm in." From the get go, I think it's just very easy to sell. You don't even really need to play it. You can kind of just. I think if you understand VR and you've played VR, you just watch a trailer for Beat Saber and you're like, "Yes, I understand how this works. Give it to me, please. Give me." So yeah. Also, obviously, ran a pretty big deal for such a small studio, and this game to potentially now be the highest selling VR title of all time. 1 million. That would be
can't think of many others that would come close.
Even close. Exactly. I can't either. It's like there's either stuff that's just stuck on PSVR solely that could have done more if it was spread across, and I don't know. Most stuff on PSVR, the highest selling Sony published stuff, obviously wouldn't do that much. Like you think about like even Astrobot, which everyone was loving towards the end of last year, once it started getting up a lot of praise, even if you saw numbers for that, I wouldn't expect it to be very high because it would just be like a avid small fan base, I guess, of major PSVR lovers. But yeah, Beat Saber gets the added effect of being on basically everything. I guess they'll keep porting it to as much as they can, yeah. One more VR game that I played this past week, one that hold on, let's game in quotation marks, is like a 10-minute fucking experience. And you already played it as well last week, was that Kingdom Hearts VR experience, but give my 2 cents on it, I thought. Well, it's free, so there's not really much to say. It's like 10 minutes. The only good part is pretty great, but the rest is shit, is how I'd describe it. That's how I'd sum it up. And by that I mean, so there's a part at the end when you're, well, let's just walk it through it, because what am I going to spoil the fucking 10-minute experience for you? So you start in the gummy ship, the way Kingdom Hearts 2.8 and Kingdom Hearts 3 starts, with them talking about where to go, and then of course they blast off the Hercules world. You can't start there and experience that in VR. Boring. I was like, can we just fucking can we move on? It was cool for a hot second to be able to turn around and be like, oh, there's Goofy and Donald behind my chair because I'm Sora. Oh, and then
were you playing with PS Move controllers?
I think I had everything turned on at the time, and I don't know if I needed any of it even plugged in.
Yeah. I didn't think you would have. No, I just played with my controller, so I wasn't sure if.
I don't think you can even
added anything.
No,
if you can move your giant gloved hands or.
Nope. I had everything on because I jumped into this after doing some Beat Saber, so I had DualShock on, Move controllers on. Nothing would move on my screen, so no. So you sit in that chair for a couple minutes, you experience that, and eventually it's like, fucking come on. Your heart is your ever guiding key. Very good. Yep. What? Let's blast off. And then you go into a fucking kaleidoscope tunnel where it's got a bunch of clips of all the games playing above you, which is interesting for a hot 10 seconds before you just like...
It's a cool visual.
Yeah,
it lasted way too long.
10 seconds, and it goes for like a minute, and you're like, uh-huh.
It's like one of those rides, like It's a Small World. Where you're
They
stuck.
could have at least let you fucking control the ship or something that, because you're in the gummy ship, they could at least let you control it.
Yeah.
What's even weirder is you look behind you, all of a sudden Donald or Goofy have just disappeared since you took off. It's like, where the fuck did they go? And then once you get to the end of the tunnel, it takes you to Destiny Island, and there you watch the part from Kingdom Hearts 1 play out where you're sitting in the chair and you're having this conversation with Riku and Kairi, and Riku's like, we're going to go to other worlds, blah, 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 blah. That was kind of cool because it's directly from the first game and a important part of the history of the franchise, I guess. And it looked nice. The character models all looked cool and whatever else. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. And then so basically this point on was cool, because then after that it kicks into I can't remember the exact song's name. I don't know, like the main Kingdom Hearts 1 theme, that one. And then it's got all this, how do you even describe it? It's like over the water in front of you, it starts having...
It's like a projected cutscenes onto the sky.
Yeah, onto the sky and the water and all sorts of stuff. And it looks really cool in VR, I thought.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. This whole part here I really enjoyed, and I wish this was solely what it was. I was like, everything before this, fuck, this is boring. Why am I playing this? And then I get to that final part, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. This is exciting. Look, oh, this is nice. So yeah, and then by the time you get to the end of it, it's like, oh, Traverse Town they'll be added into it. Fucking whenever they decide to add that in, and that's probably going to go the same. It'll be like boring, and then they'll probably have some projection cutscene thing at the end of that with some Kingdom Hearts 2 music, I suppose, and that'll be the only good part. But yeah, so to summarize, if you don't like Kingdom Hearts, don't play this. If you like Kingdom Hearts and you have if you don't have PSVR, buy PSVR for Beat Saber. And if you already have a PSVR and you like Kingdom Hearts, it's free. Download it. Enjoy that last 5 minutes, which is pretty cool. But the 5 minutes prior to that, maybe just start it up, go take a walk, have a drink, come back, put the headset on, and then enjoy the good part of it. That's how I'd summarize the Kingdom Hearts experience. Do you agree?
Side note, yeah, but as you just said that, they need to have a Beat Saber Kingdom Hearts pack where the lightsabers turn to Keyblades and you play, you know.
Oh my fucking God. Imagine. That is a good one.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, face my fears with Keyblades, dual Keyblades in my hands. Yes, please. Yes, please. And that song
instead of blocks,
great.
they're heartless. No, that might be stretching it.
Yeah, that might be a little bit too hard for them to do. They could change the kit. Maybe they could add
make
like,
square heartless. I'm sure.
Maybe they could like add heart symbols to the blocks or something. Maybe that like hearts replace the arrows, like, you know what I mean? Like you could have them face certain directions so you could tell if it's up, down, left, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Hit us up, Beat Games. Got all the ideas you need. And the last story in VR for this week, had a bunch of VR shit to talk about this week. Holy shit. So a patent has been filed for wireless PSVR potentially. Well, no. It has been filed, so we could have wireless PSVR in the future, potentially. So the story comes from PlayStationLifestyle.net, which says, Sony has patented a new band determination device and frequency band determination method to allow the PlayStation system to figure out the location of the user's movements. According to the patent, the PS4 could have a program capable of switching a frequency band used for communication earlier than before, according to a change in environment in which a communication device or a communication partner is placed. If that all sounds like gibberish to you, don't worry, because it is.
It is.
And also the picture that they have here in the article from the patent is also similarly gibberish, because it's got a bunch of fucking numbers and whatever else scientific language attached to it. But basically what it boils down to is they're saying the VR headset is going to that's got to have a sensor or whatever thing in the front of it, and that'll beam the signal to your PlayStation or whatever, and then you're still going to have the cutout box or whatever they call it for PSVR, but it's not going to have wires. Its sole job is just going to be a frequency emitter that's sending out signals to PSVR, and then it's like constantly rotation of information that way, I guess. That's kind of what it boils down to. Of course, just because of fire this doesn't actually mean it's a thing that could happen. It just means it's obviously technology that they're playing around with. But I still think it's nice and always good to point these things out, because it does mean you can be like, thumbs up, they're actually playing around with the technology. They're not sitting back just twiddling their thumbs. And of course, they wouldn't be sitting back twiddling their thumbs, but it still just makes you go, okay, so are they potentially working on a PSVR 2? Are they potentially just working on updating the PSVR now? Is there something to do with the PS5? You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things if they're playing around with it now. And I would probably go, if PSVR 2 would be the box, I suppose I would check. Like, it seems like if it's a big enough upgrade to make it wireless, that seems like a PSVR 2 thing to me. It doesn't seem like just a halfway upgrade.
As long as the current PSVR can still do everything the new one can, because you don't want to split the market yet, especially so early on. Yeah. But if this works, that's what everybody wants, and they'd happily trade in their headsets, I would assume.
Oh my God, I'll do it on a dime. The amount of times, because one of my biggest problems, and I fucking get so shitty and annoyed, I'll be like halfway through a song on Beat Saber, and then like I'll do a swing down or swing up note or something, and I'll actually catch the chords, and I've like pulled out the ones that connects, the headset to the other thing somehow. I've pulled out my fucking headphone cord that's attached to the thing. Like, there's too many fucking cords, and it's fine when you're sitting down and you're playing a VR game that, you're just in your chair, fucking DualShock controller or something like that, and it's more chill. When you're playing something like Beat Saber where you're wailing your fucking arms around while you're standing up in the middle of your room, it's dangerous. I don't know what these cords could be doing. Who knows what could happen next? I could swing around my TV by accident, pull it down, break it. I'll fucking sue you, Sony. Right? Fix this shit. I need it fixed. I need my wireless VR right now. Not having it.
Do you reckon this could spell the end for HDMI cords? If they have technology to connect some device to another visual device without a wires, do you think they could put something like that in PS5 and then, maybe I don't need to have a massive bunch of cables running down the back, except for a power cord?
That would be a dream. I feel like it's slightly different technology, I guess, because it's still shooting. I don't know. It gets kind of confusing, doesn't it? Because it's like the outset boxing or whatever is going to do some sort of technology, and then that beams image back to the headset screen, but then that's a certain size screen and smaller and blah 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 blah. How good of technology do you need to be able to send 4K 60 plus frames per second wirelessly? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's different, I guess. I know, it's interesting.
It has to be a good quality to get to your face, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. It's definitely a similar question, I suppose. I just feel like it's slightly, and I'm sure if they could do it, people it would be a
done
thing
it already.
Now. Yeah, you'd like to think at least. Yeah, but yeah, I'd like that. I'd get rid of all my fucking cords. My only worry is in a world like that where we get rid of all our cords and stuff, then I've got all this wireless stuff at the back of mine or in my TV cabinet or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
it's like, are any of these frequencies going to bump into one another? Is my Xbox sending a frequency to my TV going to bump into my PlayStation sending my Nintendo sending a frequency? You know what I mean? My Apple TV sending a frequency. Yeah, exactly. There's only so many numbers in the alphabet, so I don't know how we're going to get all these things to work.
There is an infinite amount of numbers.
Well, but is there?
Yes.
Okay, I'll choose to believe you for today. All right, PSVR talk over for this week. In case you didn't know, the Messenger is finally out, I think today as of release, or if not, tomorrow, or something like that. I was getting the dates all confused because it's like, oh, is this an American date I'm looking at as a European date? Does that, I don't know. It all gets all over the place. But I was looking at PS blog post where they announced it. It says that the game's coming on the 19th, which would be the day of release of this, but I don't know how that works out.
America's.
Yeah, exactly. It's confusing. Either way, this week. If you don't know what the Messenger is, it says, in the Messenger, players take control of a young ninja tasked with carrying a magic scroll across a cursed world in order to save his clan besieged by a demon army. While on the surface, the Messenger might look like a simple homage to the classic platformers, you'll quickly discover that the game plays with your expectations to surprise you with its modern game design approach, clever writing, and super tight controls. The cast of memorable characters, as well as its fourth wall and the inclusion of a few mechanics from other game genres, also contribute to making the Messenger a truly unique game experience. While the game is considered fairly competent to platformers of the early 90s, it still proves very challenging even to hardcore players with its 45 optional power seals to collect, as well as its unique, addictive New Game Plus system. Blada, 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 blada. So yeah, it came out on Switch, where was it, like late last year? Wasn't it around PAX-ish or something like that? Like roughly
I feel
that
like it's sometime around there, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that's when people were like talking about it a lot around PAX-ish time. Maybe it was like September, I think, something like that. I've been intrigued. I honestly wasn't that interested at first when
it was
the trailer
August last year. So
okay, there you go. When the trailer dropped for it originally, I was like, oh yeah, okay, another side scroll. We get a lot of these nowadays. You know what I mean? Like a lot of side scrolling games that with homages to old school games. I was like, okay, maybe not this one. Art style isn't super grabbing me. It's a ninja character, whatever. The part that has interested me was when I found out there's a lot of fourth wall breaking, and apparently the game's quite funny, but they didn't show this off in any of the trailers because I think to get into that element of it, from what I can gather, is to go into like spoilery type stuff for what that actually does with the game. But that part's the part that interests me the most. I'm like, fourth wall breaking, quite funny stuff. I've heard they play with the game quite a bit more than they're willing to show in the trailers, where that just makes it look like your typical 80s throwback game or early 90s or whatever you want to call it. So I'm intrigued. I kept having my eye on my Switch for it. Never actually pulled the plug though. Coming to PS4, so now that's obviously, if I'm going to play it anyway, it's going to be on the PS4. But there's a lot out at the moment, so it's probably going to get stuck onto the wish list for another day, another time type situation. But yeah, do you have any interest in the Messenger?
No, well, I've heard nothing but rave reviews, so I mean, it's on the list. I don't know if I'll get to it, but it's on the list.
That's a start.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
Sometimes you get put on a list and people are talking about the bad list, but we're talking about the good list. Yeah, there's a good list, yeah. So yeah, I'll keep my eye open, but yeah, there's a lot. Obviously, we've got the Division happening at the moment. Sekiro is out this week as well, which is another ninja game technically, I suppose, but a little bit different. So, again, another interesting thing that was teased this past week. Well, let's be honest, it wasn't teased; it was basically confirmed. Is Behemoth Games put up this tweet that says, "See you Tuesday for more things." ... It has a picture of 4 PlayStation controllers, each with different colored lights, so green, red, blue, orange. And then below them, you can see the shapes of what are presumably the tops of different characters from the game, Castle Crashers. So presumably, this is all leading to Castle Crashers being ported over to PS4. I presume a lot of people these days don't know what Castle Crashers is. Do you know what Castle Crashers is?
Yeah, the name is familiar, but I'm not overly. I don't think I've played it or anything, but
yeah, because it came out in like, I don't actually remember that. It might have been like 2009 or maybe 2010 on Xbox. Fucking hell, even earlier than that. Yeah, 2008. And I don't think it came to PS3 till like a couple of years later, so maybe like 2010 or something like that, maybe 9, 10, I suppose. I don't know, 11 even. I don't know. Either way, it's like 10 fucking years ago that I played it at this stage on PS3. So it's quite an old game, and it was one of the OG kind of really popular Xbox arcade titles, I guess, is kind of the way to describe it. And it was an exclusive on there for some time before it actually got released on PS3. And I remember when it dropped on PS3, I was like, oh, over the fucking moon. I was so, because I'd watch all this gameplay for it on Xbox and be like, fuck, I want to play this so bad. Why I don't have an Xbox, please? And then when I got ported, I was all over that, all over it. It is a lot of fun. So presumably this is not going to be Castle Crashers 2. It's presumably going to be the, they last year or the year before re-released on Xbox One, like a little bit prettier type version, you know, something like that. It's hard to call it a HD remaster because it was obviously already HD, but they go about wording these types of things. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can play it by yourself or you play it with friends. It is the way it's meant to be played. I don't recall if the original version had online or only split screen, but I presume this version would have online. So they'll make it a lot easier to play for it. Fucking please, I'm sick of all these fun co-op games only having local multiplayer. That's not helping our situation at all. But it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up. Yeah, basically, it's the easiest way to describe it. Where it's got quite funny humor, fucking fantastic soundtrack. I was obsessed with the soundtrack for quite some time, and the gameplay loop is about you play through the game once. You play through the levels again to get more stuff, to buy better gear, to level up, you know, like it's that kind of thing of just doing it. Play through levels on hard again, go for gold. So I played through it by myself and I had a lot of fun, but it's definitely a game that was designed for multiplayer in mind. And playing it by yourself does feel a little bit empty, as these games kind of do, I guess, but it's quite colorful. It's a lot of fun, so I'm probably going to pick it up again. I'd be excited to play it, considering I don't think I've played it since 2011 or whenever I was playing it on my PS3, and I'd be even more excited if it has, and I could look this up, I suppose, but I didn't think to, online co-op, and hopefully not just couch co-op, because I can play it with some real people and not by myself, because I got friends these days, maybe. Oh, I didn't. And I'm sick of all these games I get. I'm like, yeah, we play all these games at PAX, for example. It's like, oh, this is so fun. Oh, yeah, it's couch co-op
apparently
only.
You can play it on Steam multiplayer, so...
Well, then I hope so.
I'm
going to hope so. Hope for the best. So, yeah, that more information this week. I'm excited. Also this week, we finally got, after a long, long time, DICE announced details for Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode, Firestorm, which it's quite weird from many aspects. If you want to look at it, obviously EA, Apex, free. They're like, hey, get excited for this non-free Battle Royale mode. I'm like, look, PUBG's barely hanging on. Call of Duty is hanging on because it's Call of Duty. Do you really think that you can... I don't know. But the trailer, I like, is one thing I'll say. What do you think of the trailer?
I haven't checked it out.
Okay. So the trailer is... it's typical Battlefield, I guess, and typical Battle Royale type tropes and stuff, but it has a cool soundtrack happening, and then several elements kind of stand out. So at the start, you see a bunch of soldiers parachute in, because of course you parachute in, and then they land, then they run into this certain building, and then other people run into another building and they all start shooting at them, and then of course they shoot some sort of flare or something at the building, which then sounds down a mortar strike or something. So I presume certain characters are going to have abilities to do that, which is a little bit different to what we're used to playing in Call of Duty. I suppose you're going to compare this one more to Call of Duty than Apex, because it's going to be more along that line, I guess. The standout thing from the the video, and this isn't gameplay footage either, I should point out. It says it's in engine, but it is a fully CG. It's not proper gameplay. But at one stage, and this is the one reason to watch the trailer, at about 42 seconds in, someone bursts out of this fucking farmstead on a tractor with a giant gun attached to the back of it, which has made which has made the comment section on YouTube quite funny, where everyone in the comments is basically saying, "Oh, I'm so excited for this battle royale. It's everything I wanted. Battlefield plus farming simulator, finally."
But it's not realistic, Dylan. It's not historically accurate.
No one fucking cares unless tractors. That's fine. Women, no. Even worse if it's a woman's riding a tractor. That's even more impractical and unrealistic.
Well,
can't have that now.
Don't seem to be any women in this trailer, so there should be.
Oh, that should be set. No, that's why no one's complaining about this yet. But the DICE has fixed all their problems. They got rid of all the wee meons. So about halfway through the trailer, they show off the firestorm itself, I guess, creeping in, and a bunch of people jump into a helicopter. You see them take down a boat thing, or they start shooting at a boat thing, and then the boat thing bursts out, and it's suddenly driving on land. And it looks like they're making use of kind of what Battlefield was known for a long period of time, which was of course its vehicle system and stuff, which always made it stood out, especially back in the day versus Call of Duty and stuff. So they're making the best use of that for the Battle Royale mode as well. The title card at the end even has the tractor front and center on it, which is quite funny. It's like the selling point. It looks ridiculous, like Battlefield 5 Firestorm. It's got this fucking tractor there. And then right at the end of the trailer, they show some tank or something being teased coming out of an underground bunker. And I think you're going to be able to call those in or unlock them or something along those, and unlock these high-level vehicles to be able to bring in, which, of course, you'll be able to kill enemies real fast with, but at the same time, you're suddenly a huge target. So, but Oz Gamers had a post up about it. It says, Battlefield 5 Firestorm brings Battle Royale to the series on March 25th. So, I think that's Friday, something like that. It says, which is when the last squad to standing mode finally drops on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Alongside the release date announcement comes a rather impressive and fun new trailer showcasing a cinematic look at the genre, Battlefield style. There's a definite Bad Company vibe here. I can kind of feel it. And then you got the details dropped by DICE about it here. It says, scavenge, work as a team to unlock high risk, high reward objectives and claim the best loot while exploring a map 10 times larger than Hamada. I don't know what the fuck that means in the context of anything. Fight, unleash Battlefield 5's signature destruction with combat vehicles, artillery strikes, and an expanding arsenal of weapons. Survive, play together to share gear, revive fallen squad mates, and outlast the Firestorm that incinerates everything in its path. With a huge map, Firestorm was playable solo or in a squad duo as expected in April, and looks to be jointly developed by both DICE and Criterion. It's all very Battlefield 2 with 17 types of vehicles ranging from tanks to amphibious buggies to tractors, towering cannons. Although entertaining first, the trailer mentions to cover the basics from dropping in via parachute with no weapons or equipment to the closing ring of fire to the large map full of stuff to find the danger to avoid to be face on, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? In a world now, because back in the day, by back in the day I mean late last year, we were talking about Call of Duty versus Battlefield as the sole interesting upcoming Battle Royale fight, and we had no idea Apex was going to exist and didn't know Call of Duty was going to be as successful. I suppose you could call it successful, yeah, sure. As it is now to a degree. Where do you think that this Battlefield's mode can even fit into the climate where Apex is free, Fortnite's free, Call of Duty is like the only paid one doing well. PUBG barely does fucking anything anymore, so.
Not really. I think the only people who are going to be playing this are the people who already have Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suspect this is going to drive massive sales, especially when you've got Apex versus free. I'm sure all these type of people have already bought Call of Duty and playing Blackout. So yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Very tough to break into the market. It's kind of overloaded at the moment.
Yeah, and it's even weirder because it's EA, so it's like they're publishing.
Do you want to eat your own lunch? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I would be interested in checking out the same. Well, I was always interested in checking out Battlefield 5, but I do have this thing now where I'm always just interested because obviously it's a new genre and stuff where as much as I can, I do find it intriguing to check out all these new Battle Royale games if I can, and just to see what little differences they are and stuff like that. Because obviously I'm a big fan, liked Call of Duty Blackout. I like Apex a lot, so I'd be interested to give it a go. Maybe I could find... If I could find Battlefield 5 and I walk into EB Games, it's like $20 or something maybe these days. Pretty sure it wouldn't be that expensive to pick up then. Could be a thing. I can grab it. Because I'm pretty sure this is just a free... because they took it out. Well, they didn't take it out. They didn't launch with it, but it was part of the game. Like, it was supposed to be one of the modes. So it's not like you have to pay for this or something. You just pay for the game. It's part of the game. So you don't have to buy extra DLC to be able to get access to this. So, but it's finally coming after... very, very long time. I still don't understand why they... Honestly, it might have done better if they didn't even release Battlefield 5 last year and they just fucking pushed the game for its entirety until they could drop everything at the same time kind of thing. Instead of releasing Battlefield 5 and be like, here's the single player, here's the multiplayer, but here's not our Battle Royale mode. Oh, what's happening with that? It's coming... when we're done, it'll come is when the answer to your question is. Whereas maybe they drop it. If they drop this, imagine Battlefield 5 is just releasing next week. Probably would have done better. Less crowded slot. There's no first-person shooters dropping at the moment. Of course, Apex exists, but at the same time, it would have got a little bit more hype around your Battle Royale mode if the whole game's dropping at the same time. So just an update for a game that has kind of come and went and people were like, yeah, Battlefield was alright, I guess, maybe. If you played it, no one really talked about it. I feel there wasn't that huge much happening with it when it dropped.
No.
Okay, so the one last thing I want to quickly cover, which was the weirdest story that happened last week. So I think it started pretty much after we recorded last week's episode, and then it wrapped up a couple days ago. But I was like, this is an interesting news story to be happening while we're not between recordings of episodes. And I wouldn't have touched this story with a 10-foot fucking pole if it was still being rumored at the moment, but it's kind of wrapped up now, so we're good. So the story comes
Has
from...
it though?
No, let's fucking hope so. The story comes from PlayStationLifestyle.net. It says, earlier this week, a market watch report on the United States stock market claimed that Take-Two Interactive shares climbed by 4.7% following rumors that Sony is in advanced board-level discussions to acquire the company in a mostly cash deal. The statement was attributed to Wedbush Securities head of technology and media trading, Joel Kalina, who expressed his surprise and confusion over the rumor. So if we now cut back to their original story, PlayStation Lifestyle's original story, the original story for it went as follows. Earlier today, rumors began cropping up about Sony buying up Rockstar parent company Take-Two Interactive. The Sony Take-Two whispers were, of course, false. Rumors stemming from loose sources that spun a narrative out of control. Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption aren't about to become a PlayStation exclusive. That incoming Borderlands 3 reveal isn't going to end with only on PlayStation VR. And Sony isn't about to revive Bioshock with Naughty Dog at the helm. It all began with Take-Two, M&A chatter, making rounds. Like, that's a fucking bunch of gibberish there. There was note that the head of technology and media trading at Wedbush Securities, Joel Kalina, wrote in response to Take-Two's sudden jump in marketing share this morning. Okay, so that's gibberish is the note he wrote, which reads T2 M&A chatter making rounds ... plus 2.5%, no source unconfirmed. So that was apparently a note he wrote, and that's what everyone grabbed onto for this rumor, for whatever reason. A Market Watch report by Sue Cheng and Chris Matthews quickly ran with the information, because got to get the information out there, including that line in the report saying Take-Two Interactive software stock climbed 4.7 on rumors that Sony Corp is in advanced board level discussion to acquire Take-Two Interactive in a mostly cash deal that would value the company at $130 a share, according to Joel Kalina. Blah, 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 blah. So it continues. The thing, though, I find most interesting about this is it was a rumor started off a note, and then the rumor starts, and then all these sites start talking about it. All these people are putting out videos throughout the week, talking about it. Like, imagine if it's true, blah, 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 blah. I keep seeing all these tweets, and I'm just constantly like, no, this is not going to happen. This is absolute fucking nonsense. This is not a thing that's going to happen. And I think their article here points out somewhere as well. But I remember a couple of years ago, or whenever it was, when EA, or I think it was EA, should have double checked. Pretty sure it was EA, tried to buy Take-Two out or something along those lines. And that got fucking nowhere because that was a bunch of bullshit as well. But that was actually a thing that was trying to happen. This rumor smelled like dog shit from about 1,000,000 miles away and somehow turned out to be dog shit. But once again, like this fucking Google controller thing of a week, it's like people just read a headline and run with it. 1,000,000 miles west, run with it. Sony is buying the Grand Theft Auto creator. Run with that headline. Let's go for it. And because of the way the internet works, people see the story. They don't actually read the story where it could possibly clear up that it's a rumor. They just read the headline, and then all of a sudden Twitter and Facebook's fucking on fire. And Sony has to come out and somehow be like, I don't even understand how this rumor happened, which is what happened. So back onto this article, it says that while Kalina, the technology media trading heads person, has already explained that he made no such remarks and had merely released a note stating that there is an unconfirmed report with no source, Sony released a statement of its own to kill the rumor, saying, "We do not know where the rumor is coming from, but there is no such plan," a Sony spokesperson told VentureBeat. Tokyo-based reporter Yujiro Nakamura separately confirmed that he has spoken to a Sony representative and that the company has categorically denied any plans to acquire Take-Two Interactive. Although many were immediately skeptical about MarketWatch's report, it's worth noting that Take-Two Interactive has fought off acquisition attempts. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Acquisition attempts in the past. Back in 2009, publishing giant Electronic Arts spent 7 months attempting to take over Take-Two Interactive via a $2 billion bid that eventually turned hostile. The two companies then decided to talk privately, resulting in the FIFA publisher agreeing to drop its bid in the end. Blah, 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 blah. So that was a real thing that happened. This is a whole bunch of shit. A lot of people were talking about it. It got quite ridiculous. What do you think of all this while it was happening, though? Because it was like a 3-4 day news cycle thing. Were you shaking your head? Were you buying into it?
I thought it was interesting. I mean, it would have been a super bold move by Sony if it was real. And on the Take-Two side, it would have been, unless there was like problems behind the scenes that we weren't aware of, it would be sort of weird decision to make. In regards to the EA, during that EA takeover, there was a bunch of different things going on at the time. Obviously, I think 2 years before, Take-Two had a major takeover by like change of management because of problems. So obviously, EA maybe saw them as a smaller. They could possibly swoop in and sort of pick them up. I think I'm reading elsewhere that Activision had picked up Vivendi at the time, and so EA were trying to resecure themselves as like the top third-party distributor or developer. It seems like an odd choice, especially when you consider that really that Take-Two only has like a handful of major IPs at the moment, but one of them's NBA 2K, which is one of the highest selling games every single year, as well as WWE 2K, which is pretty high selling as well. Grand Theft Auto, which is a cash cow, and they can pretty much make money hand over fist whenever they want. They could probably put out another remaster of one of the old games and they'd probably sell a bunch load. And then you've got Civilization, which is not a console game, which is one of their other massive titles. So it would have been, I don't know how much benefit Sony would have gotten out of getting Take-Two in the long run, really, when they're only putting out like 1 or 2 games a year.
Got to get that. They would have wrapped themselves the Game Awards if that was God of War, Rockstar wins, Red Dead Redemption 2 wins, and God of War wins, and Spider-Man wins. It's like Sony would have done even better, I guess. Maybe that's what they want.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a real story.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I mean, when you've got EA buying up a whole bunch of companies and getting all the press, I mean, buying up a whole developer and distributor is a huge move. Yeah. Unless they wanted to like move sort of into the PC realm and they wanted another arm to put those sort of games on under, maybe. Also, 2K has got a massive mobile games division as well, so that was something I looked at as well. But I don't believe this got very far at all.
Neither.
If it was a thing at all.
I can't remember where I saw it. And I've only seen one person point this out, and I can't remember where I saw it pointed out. But when I read it, I was like, that actually makes sense to me. Because the stock rise from Take-Two side, which was kind of like the point of which the whole rumor was started, I guess. Someone I saw point out that could have been because of their upcoming announcements at PAX, be that Borderlands 3 or whatever the other game is going to be as well. That could be why their stock price suddenly rose. Something to do with that stuff.
But 4% for a company that's $93 a share is a huge jump for a game.
It is, but
is beloved, but is not like a massive title. It's it's not Grand Theft Auto 5. It's Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, if they announced that would move the needle
a lot more. Yeah,
but
so Gearbox is apparently revealing Borderlands 3 Plus.
Take-Two doesn't even own Gearbox. They're just distributing it.
No, but it's the only thing within our current news cycle, and it would, like, as ridiculous as it is, it would make more sense than the Sony thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they did take a beating and they went, hey, how much do you want? And that was it.
I don't know, but it's like the only thing that's true is that the stock did go up. You know,
yeah,
so something
before the rumor got out.
Yes,
before it was a widespread news story. It went up before that,
but it went up.
So it's not like the rumor. Someone started a rumor, everybody got massive buzz around it, and then the stock price went up.
Yes, it went up before because they all watched gameplay of Borderlands 3, and they were like, "Holy shit!"
No,
this is the genre defining stuff we're watching right now.
Maybe, unless it's like the second coming of Christ. I don't know, but
that's the other game they're announcing. That teaser image they put up of a robot or something on the floor. Yeah, they're putting it's the second coming of Christ. Oh, well, yeah, so that was a weird news story that happened last week. The moral of the story is don't just read the taglines, don't just read the headlines, and if it sounds like bullshit, smells like bullshit, probably is bullshit. Only one thing for hashtag every trophy counts. Sekiro's Shadow Die Twice trophies have gone up. They look somewhat simpler than all the other Souls games, I think, but the list does seem to contain a bunch of spoilers depending on what you consider spoilers for your Souls-like game, I guess, because there is a trophy for what I presume is every boss, unless some bosses don't have trophies, and that's a lot. There's like 15 or 16 trophies here related to bosses, and of course, reading them will give you spoilers for what the bosses of the game will be, and, you know, fans of Souls games don't like having the bosses spoiled for them, so I think this fits into the spoiler stuff. And then also there's a couple of trophies here to do with endings. There are several different endings for the game, and by several I mean more than 3. So it's not just good, bad, neutral. There is a lot going on with the endings. How exactly they all work out, I would presume it's probably something to do with potentially the amount of times you die, I guess, if you're tied into the game's thematic elements. It's like maybe if you use the come back to life element too many times, maybe you have to beat the game without dying to get one of the endings, at which point this is now the hardest Soulsborne Platinum that exists. A lot of other trophies, they seem pretty simple. It's like upgrade shit, acquire skills, blah, 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 acquired all this. But yeah, majority of trophies are just bosses for defeating them. And then you got a couple for all the different endings of the game, and then just upgrades and stuff. So although it doesn't look hard, of course, the game in general is going to be hard. So, I mean, we don't know how hard the endings are going to be, but I wouldn't say it's easier than Bloodborne or any of the Dark Souls games because we don't know how it's going to play out. But the trophy list seems simpler to understand because there's less obscure or miscellaneous trophies related to stuff you have to do in the game. It just seems pretty simple apart from the ending. So, and Sekiro is out on Friday, so of course we will find out more when the actual game comes out. You're excited, aren't you, Ash? You've run out. You've pre-ordered it.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you for joining us on Platinum Explosion this week. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, Vivaladil. Where can people follow you, Ash?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY.
It's a thing. You can follow the show on Twitter at Platt Podcast. Don't forget to rate the show on Apple Podcasts if you can. If you can't, a bit of word of mouth will help out. Spread it into your friends' ear holes. You can join our Discord to chat about games, ask about trophies, tips, all these sorts of things. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord. And of course, this is a product of the Explosion Network, of which you can find many more shows, articles, news, reviews, and much more shiny things over at explosionnetwork.com. And you can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. Until next week, may all your dies twice come back again. Shadows, Mordor.
May all your revives be smooth ones.
Oh, you got it. End the show.